Welcome back to Celeb Reel. If you just finished watching that 50 Cent Diddy documentary on Netflix, you probably caught the weirdest thing. Jay-Z is basically a ghost in it. No photos, no name drops, oh, by the way, nothing. An online chatter says that wasn't random. The rumor is Netflix cut a whole segment from episode 4, allegedly titled The Jay-Z Tapes, and 50 fought hard to keep it in. Then, last second, it supposedly got yanked. And that's exactly why people are yelling, "Damage control!" Now I already know what you're thinking. How would anybody know what got cut from a Netflix doc? Fair question. But I've been tracking the blind item talk around this project for months, and it's been lining up a little too clean for comfort. For a minute, people were saying 50 was going at it with producers over control and final edits. Folks laughed it off, until Gene Deal started speaking in interviews and hinted the behind-the-scenes tension was real. And then 50 himself popped up on Instagram with a caption that had everybody side-eyeing. "Yes, I have the footage, LOL." When 50 says he has footage and throws that laughing emoji on it, that's not a joke. That's him basically saying, "This exists, you all just not getting to see it." And here's what makes it look extra suspicious. In that documentary, everybody else catches smoke. J-Lo gets mentioned, Biggie comes up, Cassie is front and center, but Jay-Z is missing like he got scrubbed out the whole timeline. Not even a single photo. That's why people are asking the real question. If Jay-Z had nothing to do with any of this, why is his name treated like it's untouchable? Why does everyone else get dragged but he gets the clean pass? So yeah, before we even get into what fans think was in those Jay-Z tapes, you need to clock this vibe first. When a powerful name disappears from the edit, it usually means somebody somewhere is protecting something. Jaguar was explaining why people in the industry feel too scared to speak up. Then she started naming names, out loud, on a big platform. And boom, the clip people were sharing got pulled down fast, like it got wiped mid-conversation. Now, that doesn't prove anything by itself, but it's exactly why viewers start yelling, "They're protecting something."
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
And why the rumor mill says episode 4 originally had a segment they were calling the Jay-Z tapes. Here's the first bombshell fans claim 50 Cent wanted to spotlight.
Here we go. Here's a fun little fact. I actually have verifiable knowledge of all 15 of Mr. Carter's illegitimate children that he hides from the world.
A so-called secret family storyline with alleged kids the public supposedly doesn't know about. To be clear, these are allegations and internet talk, not confirmed facts, and we're not making claims about minors. In that viral clip everyone keeps reposting, Jaguar says,
We finally gonna have a real conversation about whether or not Rihanna was trafficked to Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She's
at her now.
14 going on 15 years old, flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the morning in a hotel room, auditioning at 3 a.m. in the morning, a 14-year-old girl.
With no parental consent.
Nobody. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone with no parental supervision.
I actually have verifiable knowledge of all 15 of Mr. Carter's illegitimate children that he hides from the world. 15. Let that sit for a second. The story going around says 50 wanted to bring forward some of the women connected to those claims and show paperwork. NDAs, filings, receipts, the whole thing. But the same chatter claims Netflix wanted no part of it, saying it was too risky and too messy legally.
Wasn't playing football and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together.
And here's what has people stuck. If someone is just a successful businessman, why would any of this need hush-style agreements at all? If the claims are fake, why not clear it up with one clean move and end the noise? These are the exact questions 50 allegedly wanted people asking, and the rumor is Netflix made sure viewers never even got the chance to go there. And when a whole segment gets clipped like that, it makes the internet smell pressure from a mile away. Now, this next part is heavy, and it should make you uncomfortable, because the claims being tossed around aren't petty drama. They're serious allegations about exploitation. To be clear, none of this is proven, and I'm repeating what's being said online, not stating it as fact. The story that supposedly got cut from episode 4 centers on Rihanna, and Jaguar Wright is the one pushing it the hardest. She claims Rihanna was a teenager when she got pulled into the US music machine, and she points the finger at Jay-Z as part of that pipeline. Here's the timeline people keep circling back to. Rihanna was in Barbados, she was 16, and producer Evan Rogers connected with her and said he could help move her career forward. Next thing you know, she's traveling to the States for meetings that would change her life. And this is where the internet starts side-eyeing the details. Fans point out that Rihanna has spoken about how late those early meetings ran, with one audition night going into the early hours. And they ask, why is a teenager in a hotel setting, late at night, doing business in a foreign country? Jaguar adds even wilder claims on top, alleging a payout to her father and questioning how travel paperwork was handled. But those parts are unverified and controversial. After that, the story says Rihanna ends up at Def Jam with decision-makers watching closely, and the room turns into a pressure cooker where one yes can make you a star overnight. And if that's what 50 wanted to spotlight, you can see why lawyers would be ready to jump, because the allegations aren't small. They're the kind that could blow up reputations fast. The claim is Rihanna was left alone with Sean Carter, Jay-Z, for nearly 6 hours, with no executives, no lawyers, and no parents in the room. A teenager meeting a powerful grown man for that long, behind closed doors, is the kind of detail that makes people instantly side-eye the whole setup. And Rihanna has talked in interviews about how late those early label meetings ran, saying she felt heavy pressure around signing. That's why people keep replaying her words from an old interview when she was asked about the biggest changes since moving to America. And she said, "Being away from my friends and family. After growing up around my mom and all my friends for 17 years and then moving to a big city with no one. All my family and friends are still in Barbados, so moving to a big city with basically strangers, that was the hardest thing for me to cope with." Did you catch that? Strangers? She literally described landing in a big city surrounded by people she didn't really know. And that's what fuels the uncomfortable questions. Who was looking out for her? Who was in charge of her safety? And why did it all feel so rushed and intense? Now here's another part people say doesn't add up. Right before Rihanna got signed, Jay-Z was also working closely with another teen artist, Tiara Marie. Tiara had been signed to Def Jam by La Reid. She had buzz. She was getting attention. And then the narrative online says the label's focus shifted fast. Tiara got dropped, and Rihanna's career took off like a rocket. And the reason that comparison keeps getting dragged back up is because some online chatter claims Tiara is connected to a Jane Doe lawsuit involving allegations from when she was 16.
After I found out what actually happened to Aaliyah, there was no way I could stay.
Oh my God.
And then I started doing my research, and I started talking to other victims. I should have never signed that non-disclosure agreement, but I did. I took the blood oath, and so did my first husband.
Whoa.
And I left.
That's why it ain't never been right since, because you
Exactly.
left it. You don't leave anything like that.
I did. And he was paid to be my husband so no one would know who I was really involved with.
Serious claims that are not proven and shouldn't be treated like facts. Still, Conspiracy pages use that overlap to push a darker pattern story. Young talent, powerful men, and careers that people believe depend on staying quiet. Then fans point at one more thing that's always been weird to them. Rihanna and Beyoncé have never officially collaborated. No big duet, no joint single, nothing. Same megastar universe, same industry circles. And yet they don't even pop up together much in photos, which keeps the rumor machine spinning even harder. Why do Rihanna and Beyoncé never link up on a track? Not even once. If the rumors about Jay-Z and Rihanna were ever true, that would explain a lot, wouldn't it? And some fans swear Rihanna tried to hint something was off the whole time. Look at Rihanna's album Anti from 2016. The cover shows a young girl, basically a child, with a crown covering her eyes, like she can't even see what's happening around her. People read that like a warning sign, not just art. Jaguar Wright calls this a cry for help. The album title Anti means opposed to, like she's pushing back against what she lived through. But nobody was listening. We were too busy dancing and scrolling to catch the darker vibe she might have been putting on Front Street. And this is exactly what folks say 50 Cent wanted to put in episode 4. Interviews with people connected to Def Jam, paperwork, timelines, the whole receipts package. But the rumor is Netflix said it was too controversial, too risky, and way too lawsuit friendly, so it got clipped. Now let's talk Aaliyah, because this was also supposed to be a big chunk of that Jay-Z segment. Aaliyah died in 2001, and the industry has been arguing for years about who knew what, and who stayed quiet anyway. Everyone knows the reporting around R. Kelly and Aaliyah when she was 15 years old, and how it got exposed after her parents found out and said, "Marry who?" Here's what really makes people side-eye. Insiders have said a lot of the industry knew there were serious allegations around R. Kelly, and plenty of people kept their distance because of it. Dame Dash, Jay-Z's business partner back then, has said publicly he wanted nothing to do with R. Kelly, like he wasn't even trying to be in that orbit. But Jay-Z didn't just do a feature and keep it moving. He made full collaborative albums with R. Kelly, whole projects, not one song, not one quick verse. And that choice looks even louder when people remember the controversy that was already attached to Kelly at the time.
Last question. I asked you to do this earlier, but I just want you to do it even more, go detailed. What do you predict will happen next in the future? You know, it's like you see it before it happens.
Kathy White's true killer is going to be unveiled, and it's not a man. And that woman died screaming.
Anything else?
Yeah, show him the tape, Diddy. You got it.
Oh, man,
That might buy you a little time. You should probably stop looking for plastic surgeons.
man.
Looking for a new life, new face. We gonna hang you high. Jay-Z too, Beyonce too, and we gonna round up all the Cause see, I love a good gay man. I just can't stand him. And that's what it is.
With that being
You
said,
wanna know what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
I'm about to
Then you've got more talk that makes folks uncomfortable. Multiple people have claimed Jay-Z tried to pursue Aaliyah while she was still connected to R. Kelly. There's no definitive proof on that, which is probably why Netflix didn't want to touch it. But the timeline keeps getting debated because Dame Dash started dating Aaliyah when she turned 21. So people keep asking the same question. Where was Jay-Z during those earlier years when Aaliyah was still a teenager? Why was he so comfortable being around R. Kelly back then? A lot of people say it was about access to the same circles. And Jaguar Wright has been the loudest one pushing that angle for years with some heavy claims. Jaguar says she was pressured into signing an NDA. She even calls it a blood oath, to keep quiet about what she says she witnessed in the industry. She also claims her ex-husband was paid by Jay-Z to play the role of her public husband, while she says other.
It's a 50-foot bed under the moonlight in his backyard, and he'd be like, "I'm not going nowhere today. I'm staying in the bed all fucking day." I got Rihanna in the bed, Jay-Z in the bed. I got everybody in the motherfucking bed. I'm God, nigga. That's what he said.
Other relationships and deals were happening behind the curtain. And she adds that once she learned what she believes really happened around Aaliyah, she couldn't stay silent anymore. Now, to be clear, nobody can just jump from talk to proof here, and Aaliyah's death in 2001 was officially a plane crash. Still, conspiracy conversations have followed that tragedy for years, with people arguing everything from "it was an accident" to darker theories, none of that confirmed. What is true is Aaliyah was growing up, taking control of her own choices, and moving differently in the industry right before she passed. And that timing is why rumor pages won't let it go. And when 50 Cent allegedly wanted to dig into these connections for episode 4, the point wasn't to accuse anyone of murder, because there's no verified evidence for that. The angle, as people describe it, was to highlight patterns of power. Young talent feeling pressured, contracts being used like handcuffs, and voices getting muted the second they don't play the game anymore. That's where the Netflix edit rumors come back in. Folks claim it got too legally hot, too many big names, too many lawyers, too much risk. So the whole section got chopped. And here's what really freaks people out online. Some figures can sit on major platforms, get soft questions, and glide right through without any real pushback. Then, when someone finally asks the tough stuff, the clip allegedly disappears like it never happened. People point to Jaguar Wright's Piers Morgan interview as the example. She got on there, started naming names, Jay-Z, Diddy, Beyonce, plus bringing up Kathy White and making broad claims about trafficking and other serious wrongdoing. And then that segment was gone fast, which only made the internet talk louder. The interview aired, people clipped it, and then poof. Those clips started disappearing from official pages like somebody hit delete in real time. That's the kind of power people swear they're seeing, the power to erase a conversation from the public record. Now let's talk about Kathy White, a name a lot of casual fans don't even recognize anymore. Online rumor threads claim she was Jay-Z's alleged mistress, and some sources even claim she was pregnant. Then, in 2011, she died, with reports pointing to a brain aneurysm. Tragic and sudden, and that timing is exactly why conspiracy pages won't let it go. And here's where the story turns into pure leverage talk. Jaguar Wright has pushed the claim that Diddy had footage tied to Kathy's death. Unverified and unproven, but explosive. If that were ever real, conspiracy heads say it would mean Diddy had a pressure point on Jay-Z, the kind that keeps people connected, even when the headlines get ugly.
Doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know, some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats.
That's why the internet keeps stacking a bigger list. People linked to Jay and Beyonce who allegedly got pushed out, pressured, or ended up in strange situations. Again, these are claims, not confirmed facts. But the pattern talk is what keeps the rumor machine spinning. And then there's Kimberly Thompson, Beyonce's former drummer. She filed for a restraining order and claimed Beyonce used extreme witchcraft against her, saying she was drugged and hypnotized, plus other intense allegations. It sounds wild, but it went public, and that's why people still bring it up. Kimberly wasn't a random internet account either. She's a trained musician and worked at a high level in that world. After the filing, she claimed the industry doors slammed on her, and fans took that as another warning sign that speaking up comes with consequences. That's the kind of power people swear this circle has. Careers can get quietly shut down overnight. Names can get scrubbed from the conversation, and everybody else starts moving extra careful because nobody wants to be the next target. And here's the wild part. Sometimes the people the internet labels as crazy end up saying things that later look less random. Orlando Brown has been dragged nonstop, with folks calling him all kinds of things and claiming he's just chasing attention. But when he talks about what he says he saw in the industry, some viewers feel like you at least have to hear him out. Orlando went viral talking about Diddy's parties specifically, and he mentioned a 50-foot bed in Diddy's backyard. He described this massive setup under the moonlight, where he claimed all-night activity would happen, and he alleged Diddy would be out there with multiple people. Orlando also name-dropped Rihanna and Jason, and online folks started guessing who Jason really meant. Now, according to the rumor mill, this is the type of scene 50 Cent allegedly wanted to unpack in episode 4. The idea was to show Jay-Z and Diddy weren't just industry friends, but that they moved in the same circles and had deeper connections people don't want discussed. But Netflix allegedly wasn't trying to air anything that could trigger a courtroom stampede, because the lawsuits would be instant. And Gene Deal added more fuel in a recent interview, telling viewers a lot of what happened in entertainment stayed quiet for years. He basically said now platforms like YouTube let people speak on what they saw and heard, and he made it clear with his own words. These aren't street cats, these are entertainers. They don't live by any code, they're just pretending. But here's what people keep saying happens when you go at Jay-Z publicly. Your opportunities start drying up fast, and the pressure gets real. Is that proven? No. But that's the fear that keeps coming up in these conversations. Look at what happened with Killer Mike the night he won 3 Grammys. That should have been his victory lap, right? Instead, he ended up arrested after the ceremony over an incident with security that many people felt could have been handled without turning it into a headline. And the conspiracy crowd instantly started whispering that a call got made to mess up his moment. Again, that's rumor talk, not a confirmed fact. So here's the big question everyone keeps circling back to. Why did Netflix cut an entire segment from episode 4? Why remove content 50 Cent supposedly fought to keep in? The online answer is always the same. People think Jay-Z is too connected, not just in music, but in business, politics, and boardroom circles. The theory goes like this. Netflix saw what was in that segment and decided airing it would trigger a legal nightmare, injunction threats, lawsuits, and behind-the-scenes pressure from powerful teams who don't want their names in the mix. And instead of risking a courtroom war, Netflix allegedly chose the safe edit, even if it meant viewers only got part of the story. But let's keep it real. None of us can see the contracts or the internal emails, so we can't say what really happened behind that cut. All we can do is watch the patterns people are pointing at and ask, was it legal risk, editorial choice, or outside pressure? Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Netflix got leaned on to cut that segment? Do you believe any of these allegations that keep getting repeated online, or do you think it's all conspiracy noise from people with grudges? Hit like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who's been following this whole saga, and I'll catch you in the next one.